Hey guys, Somebody's Gun here. Today we're going to be talking about the absolute domination by Nut, Nosh, and Chukky in the final qualifier for NA East FNCS. These guys put on an absolute show, winning 3 out of the 6 matches and going win, win, second place, win. That is absolutely absurd and unheard of. They didn't even have to play the last game out of the tournament and still came in the top spot in NA East. Really impressive stuff here. So what we're going to do is take a look at what this trio does, how they were able to do it, and break it down for you guys, see what you can learn from it. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's jump right into it. The first thing that stands out to me is the drop spot. These guys land dead center at the spire. And not only do they take the spire, but they take the surrounding warehouse as well as the nearby chests that are available. We see Nosh lands on top, and he can honestly bully a multitude of different players depending on what the bus route is and where other people go. If there's people headed into risky, or if you get good buses, he can bully players in all different directions because of the advantage in Spire. It's free Storm Surge, potentially a free Elim if they are going into a contested area, and it's a great way to start your tournament. Nut is going to go ahead and split off over to the east. He's going to grab a ton of the metal because at the spire, there's not really much metal to choose from. This warehouse with the walls and the corresponding crates and cars or RVs nearby is really the only spot where you're going to be able to get metal in this area unless you rotate out of it. So this is a key part of the rotation pass. As you can see, Nut is clearly prioritizing this early on. When this trio gets zone, they simply go chill on top of the spire. And it's a big problem for anybody nearby. They have so much vision and can punish players on their rotates or potentially just bully teams if they decide to do so. This is free Storm Surge damage, and we see this trio do this anytime that they get zoned. Not only are they going to be able to bully teams and position them where they want to, they're also going to be able to see what the map looks like. So any rotates out of this area for them will be full of information. They will know exactly where other trios are and where the best rotations to the next zone are going to be if they don't pull zone in the center of the map. Another advantage that this trio has, and it may seem minimal, is the ability to use these zip lines to get down quickly and also rotate out of the spire quickly. Because of the information they had on the players around them, they're able to hit these zip lines and rotate into the third zone. Ideally, they're looking for positions they can either refarm or get into the center of the zone, but as we see, this game, they're going to choose to prioritize a place where they can refarm instead of going center of third, which will also allow them to get more Storm Surge tags on players trying to rotate in. If you're a fan of the channel, you've probably heard me talk about playing for a height position. This trio could have easily stopped and played edge of 5th zone as we see there, but instead decides to go further into zone, identifying where the natural height position would be and claiming a high position early. Now this doesn't necessarily guarantee them height going into moving zones. They're going to be playing a height position which gives them a chance, and that is what I talk about very often. Just give yourself a chance, put yourself in a position to potentially hold height, and you will be able to play height more often. It doesn't always have to be crazy retakes or chopping out the high ground team. A quick rotation, claiming the high ground position can be the way that you can play height if you're a team that wants to play height. I highly recommend this because after 6th zone, this team is not contested whatsoever and just simply hangs out on the high ground. 6th zone doesn't exactly pull towards them, but it doesn't pull towards anyone else either. They're pretty much center of 5th zone, and instead of waiting, what this team does is claim the high ground position early, and that is going to prevent other teams from going to make a play. Instead of waiting to see what goes on and being indecisive like a lot of people are, they made a quick, decisive decision to go play high ground, ramp over the other team that could have potentially played height on them, and are going to hold this position. They will be contested, as we see, as a team on the front side of zone tries to take this. But a coordinated effort to continue to shoot them down, damage dealt to them, and a focus to holding this high ground is exactly how you're able to hold height. It doesn't necessarily have to be the most mechanically skilled, but we see it is a team focus, holding this high ground together and forcing this trio to spend way too much in order to take the high ground. They're in a very weak position and can no longer hold it, thus will be giving it up to Nosh, Nut, and Chukky. That is exactly how you hold the high ground. It has to be from a position of knowledge and focus. It is not always going to be mechanical skill that wins you the game. It helps most of the time, but your brain is going to be able to win you a lot of games if you have the base level mechanics, and that is what is shown by this team. Yes, they do have crazy good mechanics, but what they're really good at is understanding how to play this high ground and preventing other teams from potentially taking height. Now, the only thing left while on high ground is to continue to fuel the machine. You're going to quickly run out of AR ammo as well as builds, so you need to be holding a harpoon or go down and get refreshes on the low ground. We see the harpoon here by Nosh, and you have to be active in searching for those refreshes, both in doing it with your AR ammo as well as coordinated strikes with your team, or simply just looking on the back edge of Storm, trying to find some mats just laying on the ground and going to scoop them up. These guys do a great job of that, and this is how you're getting materials, you're getting the ammo to continue to fuel that height machine that is high ground. This trio is not given zone every single game, so instead of simply just playing for whatever position they can get, they use peppers early and then once again take a high ground position. So not guaranteeing themselves high ground, but at least playing the high ground position on this part of zone. Sometimes you'll get lucky on this position, other times you'll have to get a max distance fifth zone, and then you'll have to make that rotation. But we can see this team is comfortable playing other positions other than just simply on the high ground. They play a low to mid layer to rotate in the fifth, as well as in the fifth zone. More relaxed than normal, but they're going to be setting themselves up to make plays later on. We see what they do really well is try and keep players off of them. A lot of times you can get buried in multiple different trios while you're going to look or make for a play. Sometimes you pay for it when trying to push trios off of you, but when you're consistently going for this space and trying to give yourself space, it'll help you be able to make plays more often. Now we'll get to see where the 6th zone pulls, and it is right in this team's favor. They waste no time, immediately go up to try and play the high ground. You have one of the most mechanical players in Nosh, as well as an amazing aimer in Chukky, and these guys are up on height already before another team, which was on the opposite side of 5th zone, can claim the space. So all they did was look for opportunities, put themselves in a position, and when zone revealed itself, acted decisively. This is something that this trio does very often, and I'm going to repeat it. They are decisive when they make actions. They don't wait long and stutter when trying to make decisions. This is going to help them play better because regardless of whether or not it is the right move, they're all together, all making the move, and more often than not, like it did in round 4 of the FNCS Week 3 qualifier, it worked out for them really, really well. Now, this is just clinical high ground play from the trio, spreading out, one player on front side, one player on back side, someone holding it down in the middle. Nut even has a pepper to try and prevent anyone from potentially taking front side of zone. And what they do really well, and a lot of trios will sometimes forget, is to make sure to stay ahead of zone. When it pulls back or pulls to the side, you still need to put the same importance on the zone presence as you would if it pulled max distance, and we see this trio do this very well. Also, their focus on second height or anyone potentially contesting them, as we saw in game 1, is extremely focused. What they do is identify any potential targets, any potential players looking to make a play, and quickly take them down, pressure them, move them down. And to close the game out, a good height team is going to force the lobby to quickly thin out. So, as we can see, there's probably 4 or 5 layers here on the low to mid ground. A good height team is going to continue to pressure the highest team down and lessen the number of layers available. So that is exactly what they're doing. They're causing chaos, causing engagements between the trios, and making it difficult for these guys to just play the game. That is what a great height team can do, and these guys have shown just this week and in the past few weeks, they are a great team once they're able to grab the high ground. That's all I got for you guys. What this team did well was have a game plan and make plays, be decisive when the opportunities came. We see a lot of trios kind of stutter, talk through their plays after they should have happened, and instead of being decisive, grabbing and seizing the opportunities available, they stumble, they fall, and falter. But this trio, Nosh, Nut, and Chukky, absolutely delivered here in this final game, or final round, I should say. Again, we will be seeing them in the grand finals. They're going to be up against better competition because we've already had 9 of the top trios be removed from the week 3 qualifier. So we'll have to see how they do it. Obviously, this trio is playing super well. They performed in Cash Cups and in other tournaments. So I'm excited to see how they do in the grand finals. I'm excited for you guys. Thank you for watching. I always appreciate the support. It is wonderful. Love you guys. Every single person that watches, clicks that thumbs up, throws a comment. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys. I am Somebody's Gun. Make sure you click that sub button, maybe the noti button. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. I will see you guys next time. Take care.